Phighting Phorensics is a series that I am doing which is going to tell you the basics of each character and how to play said character, while also giving some good general tips. At the end of the day, this game is meant to be fun. Play how you want to play. And if you have any tips of your own, leave a comment down below to share with others. This guide will be focusing on who is Shuriken. Shuriken, like his appearance, is one of the few stealth characters in the game, being able to easily get into enemies' backlines, disrupt them, and traverse with ease. What makes Shuriken different from other flanking characters is his special ability to proc anti-heal on the enemy, making him a great counter pick against high healing team compositions. Also, him being a flanker with decent range can be easier for some players to secure kills without putting themselves in danger of being too close. If you're looking for a flanking character and like the stealthy ninja aesthetic, then Shuriken might be the one for you. Passive: as fast as the wind. Shuriken has two parts of his passive. The first part of his passive is that you'll gradually gain movement speed and jump height, but getting hit will decrease both of them back down. The second part of the passive is if Shuriken presses jump next to a wall, he will perch said wall for a short duration. You can mainly use this to vault over walls or objects you normally couldn't get to, or just use it to juke out your enemies who are trying to shoot you. Do keep in mind, the perch has a cooldown, which you can tell by the circle in the middle of your screen. You have to touch the ground again in order for the cooldown to start. So even though you're standing on something, sometimes the game won't recognize it as the ground. Primary: Stars of the Storm. Like a certain ninja I know, Shuriken has two different primaries depending on if you hold or tap the button. Tapping the primary will fan the shurikens out, which is great for hitting opponents who are close. And holding it will fire them all in a straight line, great for hitting people from afar. Hitting enemies from behind will deal bonus damage and proc anti-heal. The shurikens can also pierce through enemies, meaning you can hit multiple people at once. This is going to be where the bulk of your damage is going to come from. So in order to get the most DPS out of your primary is to be at the same height level as the enemy and just try to hit as many people as possible. Secondary: Stab of the Betrayer. Backstab TF2 ? Shuriken will do a small dash and casually pokes the enemy with damage and anti-heal. Hitting the enemy from behind deals more damage and more anti-heal. This can be a good amount of burst DPS if you manage to land the hit from behind. You can also use other moves during the dash part of the move, but the animation is so short, it's really not that big of a deal. Ability 1: Traverse the Horizon. Shuriken will throw out a grapple towards your crosshair, reeling in at high speeds. Upon coming in contact with a wall, Shuriken will perch the wall. You can do a small movement tech where in the middle of traveling with the grapple, jumping will cancel the grapple and keep some of the momentum. The momentum goes away pretty fast, so it's good to get on top of high ground or using the grapple as a budget dash ability. If you take any damage during the grapple ability, it will be cancelled. This does reset the cooldown of the perch passive, meaning you can do some parkour to get into interesting places. This move is your best friend when it comes to getting around the map with ease. You can even use this as an escape option if you just use it on the ground. This move has a long cooldown, so be mindful when using this. I also want to note, it has a huge range, but performing it at long ranges will just break the tether. Ability 2, Illusions of the Smoke. Tapping this ability will instantly turn Shuriken invisible and increase his movement speed for a short time. You can tell the duration of the stealth by the small circle around the crosshair. Getting damage or using another ability will take you out of invis. Holding the button is similar, but will give you a longer casting time, but you will deal AoE damage when you come out of stealth. This move can be paired up with the secondary to deal even more burst damage on unexpected enemies. But you can use this move as your second escape option if you ever find yourself in a tight situation and your grapple's on cooldown. Ultimate, Guillotine Blossom. Shuriken does a backflip for style points and spawns in 5 massive rosin shurikens. Oh my butcher. These giant shurikens will rotate around Shuriken, dealing damage and applying anti-heal to anyone that touches them. After a couple of seconds, Shuriken will fire them in the direction he's facing. This does an insane amount of damage if the shurikens are continually hitting someone. So if you really don't like somebody on the enemy team, you just need to get close to them and pop your ult for an easy kill. This can also be good for helping your team by just running into the enemy and trying to hit as many people as possible to proc as much anti-heal and damage. If you think about it, it's almost like Scythe's the Rifle Ultimate, but if it was actually good. The range after the shurikens are thrown are a pretty good distance, so if you're farming for clips, you can snipe somebody with this. Since Shuriken has been reworked and tweaked before this video was made, they made him a whole lot simpler than he was before. The tip I'm going to give you to him is also going to be simple. This tip is to just make sure you're in the perfect range. What I mean by this is to not be too far where it's hard for you to hit your shots, but not too close where you might take damage and lose your speed passive then end up dying. Finding a sweet spot for your primary, where it's best at landing your shots, is going to vary from each player depending on your aim. Once you get the hang of the primary, just try your best to dodge damage and to keep your passive maxed out. Playstyles. There's 2 player styles for Shuriken, one of them being more of the meme and the other one being just the standard playstyle. The normal playstyle is like any other flanker in the game. You see somebody like Hyper Laser chilling, having a good day. You jump them and say GG easy. But even if you don't kill them, you're still able to distract them. Just don't try to die. This also applies to supports as well, but it's funnier when you do it to Hyper Laser. The second playstyle can honestly work, but it's just so goofy. For anyone that knows that one Moon Knight meme, if you know, you know. Well, I know some people won't know the meme. So this playstyle is just the spammer playstyle. Basically, you will stay at the edge of your primary range and just spam primary. Each shuriken gives out anti-heal if they hit. So essentially, you're just an anti-heal support. You might not get a lot of kills by doing this, but you'll be getting a bunch of assists if your team capitalizes from your anti-heal. You're also going to be very annoying to the enemy team, so if somebody tries to get too close to you, then you have both of your escapes options ready for you to run away and to spam more at a different location. Team compositions. Shuriken can work perfectly fine by himself, but if you have a friend who wants to play with you, then having another flanker to keep up with you, like Skateboard or Biograph for example, is great to have. Combos. To be honest, these aren't really real combos, but it's nice to have some burst damage if you want to do these. Combo number 1. Hold ability 2, Invis, walk behind the enemy, secondary backstab, spam primary. This is probably the most burst damage you can do without your ultimate. Ultimate combo. Ability 2 for Invis, get in range of the enemy, ult. If you land all the shurikens, this is a pretty easy kill, but you can use primary while the ult is still going for extra DPS and to make sure the kill actually secures. I hope you learned something from this video, so now go out and spam projectiles with Shuriken. I mean, he has 2. Oh wait, where's that train coming from?
I think that side.